I'd like to call this meeting of the Internal Services Committee to order. And first item is Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like a motion to adopt the agenda.
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support Zinner.
Thank you. Any comments? Please vote.
Motion passes 10-0, 11-0.
Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes dated May 2nd. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Support?
Board Hall.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next is public participation. This is the first opportunity for public participation for anyone who wishes to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any item that's on today's agenda. Later, there'll be a second opportunity for public participation for any subject at all. Anyone wish to speak on today's agenda? Again, anyone wish to speak on today's agenda? Hearing none, we'll close public participation and move to department recommendations. I'd like a motion to bundle 6A, B, and C to move the full board.
So move.
Support, Lucido.
Thank you. Ben, you're up.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am here to present items 6, A, B, and C. As they're bundled together, they are all related. This is for a COMTEC and roads renovation project. It's a multiple step project. It is renovating some of the road space on the road side of the COMTEC facility. It's relocating the permits counter and roads to the front of the building with an access for the public in the lobby of that facility. It's additional space for the Sheriff's Department. They have multiple positions that dispatch needs to have placed into that facility. They are going to be in former IT space on the first floor. And then there are some minor improvements to some IT spaces on the second floor, one being a break room and a small office they're going to create upstairs. So the budget amendment, as far as the budget amendment goes, this is actually being funded through 3 different avenues. The county contribution is in the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2023. That contribution is $731,872. Dispatch 9/11 surcharge, they're funding $140,006 for this project. And then roads out of their capital outlay funds is funding $745,902, which brings us to the total of $1.617 million, $1,617,780. Sorry, $1,617,780.
Thank you. I see no speakers. Excuse me, latecomer, Commissioner Zong.
I thought there would be a lot of speakers, so I didn't want to be the first one. Do you know what the 911 fund balance currently is right now?
I do not. Angela is here. I don't know if she can chime in on it, or I don't see Steve, so.
With the last budget amendment from the Records and Public Safety Committee in May, the current fund balance, the current budget for fiscal year 2023 is approximately $8.6 million.
Okay, so this is just a really small drop in the pool, it sounds like. There's probably other plans for that funding. Will
Well,
any of that go towards
correct.
contact?
Yeah, yep, there are many projects that we need to continuously have the revenue for to fund. And that was just the budget for this year. So the actual fund balance, I can't speak to. Would need Steve Smeagol here to answer that exactly. But yes, that's our budget. So the 140,000 is required for us to make those capital improvements for our additional administrative space.
All right, thank you. And then my other question is regarding the entrance. You mentioned that it would allow for the public access, easier access.
Yeah.
How many people would you say from the public actually comes in and out of
For
COMTEC?
permits or in COMTEC in general?
Just in general.
Brian, do you have an
What's the
idea
foot
for
traffic?
permits?
I'd say average anywhere from what?
Yeah, and then the visitors for IT or people in and out for IT, and as well as sheriff's dispatch, many meetings, so.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
I didn't hear how many, Brian, the dozen or dozen and a half for, is that per
Just
day?
permits.
Yes.
Thank you. And how was the percentages of the distribution of the cost allocated?
The architects broke down, I believe it's included in your package, sorry. There's a spreadsheet included in your package that breaks down the different portions of the project, which then they assigned a percentage to break down the overall fee instead of, having separate charges for each individual account. We'll fund one account and take all the money out of there for this project.
The one spreadsheet, unless I was reading it wrong, looked like it was saying the project would be over $2 million.
So, yeah, on the spreadsheet you were looking at, the initial estimate was $2 million. So in my capital improvement plan for 2023, we included just under $2 million. And if you if you look over to the final actual cost of departments, you'll see that the project came in at 1.6 million, so it's well under budget.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Just going over the dollar allocations here. So we're taking money from the Department of Roads, from the 911 surcharge. And the last piece is that coming from the general fund or is that coming from the capital improvement fund?
We put in 1.19 million into the capital improvement plan
So this was already in the capital improvement plan?
for 2023. Yes, sir.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no additional speakers, please vote.
Commissioner Perna and Chair Brown, I don't have votes for you. Did it come through?
Didn't pop up.
It didn't. If you want a voice vote, I can add it in.
I'll vote aye.
Perfect.
Commissioner Perna.
Say aye, Perna.
Technical difficulty.
Can you say aye?
Say aye.
Okay,
Motion passes 12-0.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't see-
Next, we have, I'd like to take 6D and E together for a budget amendment for Information Technology Capital Improvement Fund, AT&T Modem and Antenna Replacement Project for $201,552. I'd like a motion to move the full board. Thank you. Support? Thank you. Jaco, you're on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This specific project is, geared towards the public safety vehicles. The modems in the vehicles is outdated and we need to upgrade them. We're gonna do half of them this year and half of them next year. This is the request for this current budget year. The modems that's currently installed is some of the older technology, and the new modems will allow 5G connectivity, which makes a very significant difference in what we can present to the to the officers at all times. And we're asking for the amount of 201,552. This is in our current budget, capital budget.
Thank you. Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jaco.
Hi,
You said this is for the actual vehicles?
Yes.
Okay, so how many vehicles are we addressing here?
If I remember correctly, there's probably around about 120, 130 sheriff vehicles. This is for, if I'm not mistaken, for about 60 modems.
Okay, so it's the
So it's
complete
about
fleet.
half of them.
Ha-
Yeah.
ha- half
We
for
are,
the,
we are gonna do it for the complete fleet, but not half this year and half in
got it.
2024.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 6F. It's a contract with AT&T for switched Ethernet services over a 3-year period of $652,086. Do I have a motion to move to full board?
Motion by Romano, move to full board.
Thank you. Support? Thank you. Jaco?
Commissioners, this is for what we call our ASE circuits with AT&T, and what they are is fiber circuits. And the biggest portion of this is CVTs that's connected with the county and use the county's services. For example, 911 and so forth. It's leased fiber services from AT&T. The Like Commissioner said, this total cost is $652,000 over 3 years. Quite a bit of this is also recovered when the CVTs pay the county for the services that's being delivered. I unfortunately don't have that breakdown. But we also have a few of our own centers. It includes the roads centers. That's not the COMTEC building, but other centers like Macomb Township and so forth. And then the Morley warehouse, we also have connectivity there. And like I said, it's AT&T contract, and this is something, that we use for our infrastructure to connect the outside communities with the county.
Thank you. I have a question. The 600,000+, is that being paid, that's for the 3 years?
That's for the 3 years.
Are we paying that amount this year and then it just covers the 3 years, or are we paying 1/3 of that amount this
No,
year?
we actually pay this monthly. The ASE circuits bills come to us on a monthly basis.
Okay,
So we pay them as they come in. So it's paid over time.
okay. I have sort of a procedural question. If we vote this in, does that allow them to spend that monthly money over the 3 years, or just this year, and then we got to vote on it again next year?
I think it's, what's that? Yeah, come back. I mean, we give it an overall approval, it'll come back next year.
Okay, thank you. Just curious. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Hopefully we'll be voting for the same amount.
Yeah, you know, if I can just say something about that, in the past, we've brought the AT&T contracts, including earlier this year. We brought them to the board and it's approved for the time of the contract, because it's really fixed costs, you know, in most cases, so.
Well, that is that in the wording of it wasn't in the wording of the resolution, Mr. Chairman. Was it, that's not exactly how it was worded in the language, though. We could do that certainly if the board wished, but that language isn't in the, because I'd rather lock it in so there is one number instead of running the risk it bounces back, but it doesn't specifically say it's locked in for the 3 years.
Yeah, it is locked in for 3 years at that 652. Barred, you know, if we need more circuits because another, you know, CVT come on board or something like that. But with the infrastructure we have today, it is locked in. We're not gonna pay more over the next, that's why we signed these contracts with AT&T.
Yeah.
And they have been pretty good from that standpoint.
Well, and I think that it would be locked in for 3. Vice Chair Sabatini, what did you say on that? Yes. Okay, yeah. Well, well,
See, where I was going to is I didn't know how much money we were authorizing to spend out of the IT budget this year.
yeah. Well, it would be the amount prorated for the year, so
One-third of this.
Exactly.
1/3 of the cost. So
Yeah.
that's what it'll be.
And Mr. Chair, I think based on what's in the document, it's saying that the complete amount of 652 is coming out of the current year's budget. That's basically what this is saying.
That's the way it reads to me.
That's not gonna work.
That is not how it works. I mean, we pay the bills, and like
Well,
I
why
said,
don't
we pay them monthly.
we'll approve that and we'll get the wording right for the full board and make that change so that it's clear in our motion, all right?
Yes.
That be acceptable,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Right, correct. Yeah, I'd like to see what we're authorizing to spend this year. And if you have to come back next year, it would be probably the same amount. And the third year would be the same amount.
Yep. I'll give you that.
Thank you. I believe we have to vote on this?
Yes.
Please vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did vote. It was 12-0.
Thank you. My mistake. Okay, moving on, I'd like to take items 6G and H together. A budget amendment from Information Technology for Capital Improvement Plan for the company 107 Interactive LLC to do website redesign and then to move on into the website redesign implementation. I'd like a motion to move to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Thank you. We have motion and support. Chico?
Commissioners, we are seeking services for both our current website, macombgov.org, as well as our completion and launch of the new website. These services include the movement of content and provisioning of website hosting with a secure vendor, as well as a gap assessment and completion of development for the launch of our new site. The total requested amount is $246,440. The bulk of that money, about $200,000, comes from savings from our capital expenditure so far in this year of 2 projects we did before this year, and the rest of it from the capital improvement fund. The reason we're making this move is really twofold. Since we've decided some years ago that cybersecurity is at the forefront of everything we do, we've embarked on a zero trust journey 2 years ago. One of the main points of contention with the previous vendor was the fact that they left access open to all departments, which means that any elected official and other department sites are open to potential changes from other departments. From a cyber standpoint, this is not something we can accept. 60% of cyber incidents today come from internally in organizations. So this is a philosophical difference between us and the vendor. And then the second objective is to ensure that we have an environment where all expectations of elected officials and departments are being met. We need to have a dynamic content environment that integrates seamlessly with, for example, GIS that's being used in our planning department, county clerk, treasurer's office, and some other departments in the county. It is imperative to have a robust solution and not a cookie cutter solution, because in Macomb County, that is what we need to fulfill our objectives.
Thank you. Commissioner Zhang.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jaco. With this redesign, will it include parts of the finance section for elections on the website? So the way that committees are displayed right now? Or is that a separate part of the website that will be?
Sorry, Commissioner, are you talking about the elections website itself?
Yeah, so under the clerk section, there's the elections, and then there's all the committees and all the financial documents.
We do not include that specifically from our standpoint. If that is something that either the elections committee or whoever make those decisions need to do, they can, without a doubt, do it. That's not a
So
problem.
could you give us an overview of what is included in the redesign?
What's included in the redesign is a new website with much better functionality than what we have in our environment today. One of the most important things as far as we are concerned is the editing of web content. It works today as is, but it is not very intuitive and also not very easy for users to use. We want to make sure that really any user that receives training can update their content without any problem. So that to us is one of the big concerns. Other things is just functionality, like I talked about, integration, better security on the site, and things like that is what we want to accomplish with the new design. Also, when people search our environment, our search function does not work very well. It works, once again, but it does not work the way that it's supposed to work. In other words, if I can compare it, if you go on Google and you search for your name is supposed to go right to the top, and there will be, whether it's you yourself or somebody else with that name, most cases the most popular person will show first, and you'll have information like that. With our site, it doesn't always work that way. You have to be very specific in what you search for. It's, service for our constituents, making it easier for them to access the environment and so forth.
I'm really glad that the website is going to be optimized in a way that, will be very search-friendly for users. But in particular, like, what are the content sections that will be updated? So when we go to the Macomb Gov website, it takes you to different sections, different departments. Are all of those sections going to be included in this redesign?
Literally every section will be updated, Commissioner.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Absolutely. Let me just interject. I believe from the last time we talked about this, it was the intent that all the content that's on the current website will be on the new website. It'll just be under a different tool and rearranged differently, possibly.
That is correct, but that is not a decision that I make.
Right, it's department by department.
What is actually a big part of this is content creation on the new site. And at that point in time, departments need to make the decision whether they want to take content that's there today, move it to the new site. One of our requirements is that the content has to be up to date. Because, you know, it just doesn't look good when content is old and not relevant anymore. So there's some cleanup that happens and helping the different departments to do that, but that's also a big part of this.
Thank you. Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Jacob, just two questions. The first one, just numbers. So the total contract cost is 246, whatever that number is, and change.
Yep.
And you're using savings from two previous projects,
That's
plus
correct.
the differential of 46,705 from the actual capital improvement fund. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I assume this was bid out. I see that there's a number of bidders.
When we bid out the original project in 2021, we had 10 bid responses. The bidder we chose was the lowest bidder. The second bidder was 10.7,
Okay.
which is the bidder that we're asking for here. Reason we want to go with 10.7 is because they were the second lowest bidder. And they're a company that we've worked with in the past that we were very satisfied with. It's just in the previous bid, they came out, about $10,000-$15,000 higher.
It's just a generalization, percentage-wise. On your budget, the capital improvement side, I mean, you obviously have some savings here on those two previous projects. How often do you save money on those capital improvement projects that are unexpected? Is it rare, or is it, I mean, with today's climate, it seems like numbers are all over the place, but these are pretty significant savings.
Yeah, we actually, if I can give you an example from last year, 2022, we had a savings of, I think, 1.3 million roughly from the jail project, the implementation of Global, the new software system that they use there. We had a 1.3 million saving that year. So yeah, we do definitely receive quite a bit. We also had one item that the board asked us to bid out was the surveillance videos, surveillance that we did at 4 different places in the county. We bid that out, and that also came in about, if I remember correctly, about $30,000 under budget.
In the 10 bidders that you had on this one specifically, obviously, this vendor has worked with us in the past. Were any of the other bidders have worked with us in the past as well, or was this the only one?
This was the only one.
Only one. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chair Brown?
Jacob, you're doing the technical side, but who's managing the content of the departments? Who's overseeing to make sure that because you're right, we all get questions from time to time. There's outdated information on your website, had technical issues instead of searching, but who's managing the departments to make sure that the content is current and updated? We just updated our county directory, and it's very laborious, but we're almost there, I think. So who's in charge of that piece of it? How do you know when you go live that information, every department's checked off and has updated their current information, and who's accountable in every department to make sure that maintains that? Or has there a point of contact that say, guess what, there's something that's a little amiss here that we could contact should we have questions?
It's a very difficult thing to do. From an IT standpoint, we want that information to be up to date at all times because it just looks better when everybody's data is up to date. Unfortunately, for us to take on a task like that, I will have to ask for personnel.
Well, I don't know if it's maybe.
If I can just finish, there's over 9,000 pages of content on our website. So that gives you an idea of how much information is, what we do in our department from time to time is go through, just a quick scheme to see if people are actually updating. In other words, if it's a month old, we believe that department is updating their sites and so forth, although maybe not as frequently as they should, but we're comfortable with that. But when we see sites where the information is 2 years old, or there's information of somebody that left 2 years ago, it becomes problematic. And we will notify them that we see that, and they will do that. But we don't have a concerted effort to monitor
Obviously,
that.
it's 9,000 pages, that's it's a larger amount than I think. We've got a lot of good information on our website, it's very comprehensive, but 9,000 pages. Can you run a report for the administration so they'd say, guess what? Maybe we're gonna check with these departments, or we did a check, run through it's been a year and no one's updated their information. Maybe nothing's changed, but maybe something has, or periodically, whatever they would think is best, the way to support the administration to make sure that the departments are updating their information in a current fashion. Can you run a report like that?
I probably can run
If you're asked to do it.
yeah, I can probably run a report like that, but also we have to understand there are certain information on the website that doesn't change, that just stays the way it is.
Sure.
You know, and it can be pretty old. So it's difficult to determine, you know, that in itself, because from a software standpoint, you won't be able to, maybe when you run something like the last updates people did on their website or parts of their site, you can at least see when was the last time they paid attention, you know, to the site.
All right. Well, we're glad the website's being updated properly, and I'm glad that you had the wisdom to see that it was going the wrong direction, and you put your foot down and didn't go with what was the current course. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Does the current website have a report an issue or error link on every page?
If something is wrong with the page, it will show if there's broken links. It will tell us that there's broken links. We use
No,
software.
if I'm viewing a page and I think something's wrong, is there a link I can click on to report what I think is wrong?
No, but you can either report it to your content editor, or you can report it to IT. If you're
I'm
not
Joe Q Public. How would I do? I don't know who the content editor is. I'm Joe Q Public out there wherever,
Yeah.
and I think something's wrong. How do I report that?
There is not any other way than communicating with us. In other words, with the county.
Is
and
there a
let the
link on
county
each
know.
page to click on to say, I think something's wrong?
And we've had situations like that where people communicate with either the executive office or somebody else and let us know that something is not working, and we will address it.
I'd like you to consider putting something on each page, a link to report an error, because there's nothing more frustrating to me than websites. I see something I know is wrong, and I'd like to just, being friendly, like to let them know that.
Yeah.
And they don't let you.
That's a good suggestion, Commissioner. Definitely look into that.
Yeah, thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
He says no.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 6I, an agreement with information technology maintenance agreement for second quarter of 2023 for a cost of $815,314 with Workday Incorporated. I'd like a motion to move to full board.
So move, Hall.
Support Romano.
Thank you. Jaco, you're on.
Commissioners, this is the normal maintenance items that I bring to you pretty much every board meeting. And it's as they become due, I bring them here so that we can move forward and pay them. This time there's 2 of them, which totals $815,314.
Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome. Next is public participation. This is an opportunity for anyone in the public to speak on anything for a maximum of 3 minutes on any issue. We're losing our public, I see.
No, they're public, they're more like it. Great family.
For the public that's left. And a third time, okay, I'll close public participation and move on to commissioner comments. And I see Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. This is the first time we've been back since, well, for a couple weeks. Sarah, Commissioner Lucido and I got together for the St. Clair Shores Parade, the Memorial Day Parade, and we had a good time. We were lucky somebody rented a room and we were able to be cool before the parade walk. And something got discombobulated, I think, and we were late getting into the parade, but we had a lot of fun. And there, one of the things I had not noticed before, or I think I didn't notice it, were World War II veterans with their soldier jackets on, with their military jackets on, and that was hard to take. That was really hard to take. I know they've been in there before, but I really seemed to catch up several of them, quite a few of them. And there was a gentleman close to the road where I was walking, handing out candy, of course. And my face gets real red when I'm walking like that, and it's warm especially. And he asked me how I was. He's asking me how I am, and he's a few years older. And I said, I'm great. All the people and the children were there. They're so darling. It was great. And I said, how are you? And he said he was good. So it was a great day. It was great being with Sarah, and it was just a great day. It was a wonderful day. Thank you, Sarah. We had a great time together. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. No other commissioners? Okay, we'll close commissioner comments and move to closed session.
Support.
Thank you. Okay, we're back in regular session again. Next item is adjournment.
Support,
Support.
Zinner.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Few of them.